Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. The main relationship issue is that women are free to choose the men they want. Yeah, and I said I'll work up to that one. Right? Because that's good. That's going to take us a little deep. And, I do the car videos. Could have did a sit-down video on this, but people don't pay attention to that. So I said, let me do a car video on this one. But really, that's the main relationship issue. And this ain't something I realized recently. I've been talking about this. Because if you think about it, what I talk about, select and non-select. So that means women, they're going to find some men select and a whole lot more men non-select, right? And this is something I peeped way back in the day, back in the 90s, right? Because there was some older women in the building that I lived in, were older than me, right? And they had been married, but they just left their husbands. And I said, well, why'd you marry them to begin with, right? And they were like, survival. And this is not just like one or two women. This is like several women, older women. Yeah, God was son. But I was just like, God damn. What the hell? What the hell? Yeah, got all these cars coming here. Wait a minute. Everybody doing their turns and all of that. Okay, come on, lady, turn so I can make a move. Alright, because this car behind me tripping. But really, it's survival, because I'm going to tell you something now. A lot of people say the game has changed, and, of course, I say the game hadn't changed, but remember, I started saying the game hadn't changed for the select man, the man getting it. I said just listen to some of those like old blues songs. So the men at the top of the pyramid, they ain't nothing changed for them. They still getting theirs. Big time. But the men who are non-select, because what it used to be, women didn't have as much of a choice. They ain't have much of a choice. They had to do some shit for survival. They didn't, I mean, if you really even go back further, if you go back to the 50s or something, shoot, women couldn't go to school the same way. Couldn't get jobs the same way. Couldn't do a lot. They ain't had a freedom. They ain't had an economic freedom. And see, when women didn't have the economic freedom, they would have to get a man just willing to take care of them. Okay, that's good for the man. It wasn't good for the women. Yeah, and they were still cheating, all of that. But see, now, they don't even have to fake like it, because you got women out here making more money. Shoot, they in school more than some men. They making their money. So they don't have to depend on men. See, you get a lot of guys talk about feminism and stuff, but I will always maintain the main thing from feminism is that women are free to work. They don't have to deal with a man they don't want to deal with. But trust me when I say, and some fellas even watch this know this, some of those feminists, they get down like a motherfucker. Shit, they get down. They be all up in the shadow world still doing their thing. Well, damn, dude, you gotta get there that badly? Yeah, the car sneaking through and whatnot. But, seriously, if you really look at it, you really look at what's going on, it really is a bunch of women out here who they ain't gonna deal, they only gonna deal with certain men. They only going to deal with the top men, what they consider the top men, the select men. You can call them alpha males, you can call them 20%ers, whatever. You can say they so handsome, tall, whatever. They can be picky as shit because they don't have to deal with the man. Now, that's why, Even when I talk about select and non-select, I said, shit, if you select, you still going to get yours. Select men haven't noticed the difference because they being chosen on a consistent basis. No, every single woman ain't going to choose them. Every single woman ain't going to choose them, of course, but they don't need every single woman to choose them. They'll get more than enough. They'll get more than enough. But see, you got a lot of guys out here and they try to figure out what's up. No, they just ain't turning on the women. That's really all it is. They ain't turning on the women. The women don't have to deal with them. For what? Like you get a bunch of guys talking about, well, if I got some money. Shoot. Only time that really works, like that money thing, like you got some money, it either going to work with some poor ass women, which I don't know why you want to fuck with anyway, or you starting at $1 million. That's why you got so many women out here. They starting at 6 figures. They can start at 6 figures regardless of whatever. Because if you say like, well, you making 50,000, you're a good man, they were like, well, shit, I'm making 50,000 too. In fact, there was a video I did years ago talking about top tier men making 50,000. Yeah, that was years ago. Shit, now the woman, they'll be like, nah, you gotta make 100,000. And shit, that's a minimum. It's only a matter of time before they be like, you gotta make $500,000 or something. Or that's like the average woman. Now, if you get some real poor ass woman, some real low class ratchet woman, yeah, all you need for her is a sunny delight. That's all you need for her. A little bit of money. And you get something like that, but I would hope that the men who follow me ain't like going for that type. I would hope. I could be wrong, but I would hope you looking for somebody on a better level. But they can be choosier. Because look. And I'm going to tell you what, they choosy to the point. Something that's not talked about is all these women sharing men. Knowingly. A lot of these women, they in polygynous relationships. Knowingly. In fact, there's a page I follow on IG. It has nothing but men at the very least in polytriads. A man and 2 women. And that's like the normal thing. That's like the normal thing and shit. Because they would rather, you got some women, I'm going to tell you how deep it is. The way women are to choose it, they would rather be the side piece for a top man. What they consider a top man. Than dealing with some man on what they consider a lower level. It's fucked up too, because, some of those men that they would see as non-select, they good guys. Like legitimately good men, got good intentions. They gonna be hard workers, do all that stuff that women say they want. But the women just ain't turned on sexually by them. Because remember, I also said that whole select, non-select thing is a sexual hierarchy. And you be like, wait a minute. Seriously, because that's all it is. They just free to choose and shit. And they picky. Even if a guy look kind of good, he can look decent. They don't want to fuck with him. They don't want to fuck with him. But they free to. Well, they don't have to. Shoot. And even then, they'll share a man. They'll share a man. Oh, shoot. That sex toy industry is big as shit. There's plenty of women. I talk to plenty of women. They'll say they got some type of sex toy or something. Shit. Even one dude I follow on IG and stuff, he actually advertised some sex toys. He actually advertised some sex toys and shit. I was like, oh, damn. So they be sharing men, doing whatever. But they free to do so. And see, that's fucking up shit, because then they don't have to deal with a lot of men that they don't want to deal with. They ain't forced to. They making their own money, got their own place to live. okay, they taking that provider thing. That provider thing is like totally useless. Even when they talk about these so-called traditional wives and stuff, you remember they were doing all that on TikTok and everything? Let's be real with that. A lot of them, they on some bullshit anyway. So I mean, I don't know. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's fucked up. Not even for the select, man. Now if you select, please, it's perfect for you. It is perfect for you. You can like deal with women as you please on your terms and everything. Because in fact, that's what it is with the men at the top of the pyramid. They can deal with the woman and then dismiss her. You know, like somebody's dismissing the maid. And they do that shit all the time. Because once a man's at the top, shoot, he's always gonna get women. So he can deal with women on his terms and everything. But see, you got a lot of women, and they'll share that guy. And they'll still deal with, so you get some women, they'll still deal with a non-select guy. Yeah, until that select guy makes an appearance. And it's getting, and I'm going to be real, every year it's getting worse and worse for non-select men. Shoot, that's why you had mainstream media talking about all these guys who were single, all these young men who were single and sexless. So if they saying that now, imagine what that shit going to be in 10 years. And I'm going to tell you what, nothing's going to really happen to change that. Only thing, in fact, the only thing that could even begin to change that, something would have to happen where women don't have a chance to work. It would have to take a major upheaval, a major change in the environment for this not to happen. That's not going to happen, son. Because the economy as it is too much of it is based on like women's buying habits. It's based on their buying habits. And indeed, you got some women, even if you talk about women want to have children, there's a lot of women don't mind being single moms. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys who go against single moms and everything, and a bunch of women who complain about men going against single moms. But let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. They don't give a fuck. Man, that's got to be the quickest motherfucking light. That got to be the quick. Hold up, y'all, real quick. Y'all know how I go on tangents here. That got to be the quickest motherfucking light. If you ain't standing like the first car to go, hey, that's your ass. But anyway, though, right? Wait a minute, hold on. I'm at to spit. I ain't want to let y'all see me spit. It's still something with the stroke. Still got some stuff to deal with there. And speaking of stroke, I don't have a problem saying I'm in that more select category. Because I remember I couldn't even walk in anything. Couldn't walk in a bed, still getting some attention, extra attention from a few nurses. I could tell the difference. Some of them just come in there and do their job. Some gave me a little bit extra attention and stuff. So I was like, yeah. And I'm like, hold up, I'm an old guy. old guy and stuff, getting attention from women young enough to be my granddaughter. But that's the select world and shit. And I was actually thinking about that. I was like, the most I could even say, I used to think I was non-select, but I was comparing myself to like select, super select, like D1 basketball players and shit. But really looking back at it, I was just a lower level of select. Just a lower level. There's levels in there, but I was still getting some. But even that was back in the day. And now, still get attention and all of that. Ain't really trying, don't really need to. And, you know, don't really need to. But now, when I look at all this situation, and you see all these guys out here, and, you know, and I talked about that in a video before, because, you know, you get some guys and, you know, they ain't getting a woman, ain't getting kids, you know, ain't getting a woman, ain't getting kids. They don't really have a reason to be a part of society. It's fucked up. It's fucked up in a way. And, you know, because if a man ain't getting a woman, you know, he ain't getting a woman, the fuck you need to get a big old house for or something like that. Now, you get some guys say they still do all that, okay, fine. But the overwhelming majority, what the fuck they need that for? Don't have kids, you know? Because there's been much talk. If you look even at like a lot of these single mothers, you know, they'll get one dude. He might have about 5 other kids. They don't care. Or you get some of these women, they will just get a sperm donor or something. You know, there's a whole bunch of them. You know, even some lesbian women, they'll get a kid. Lesbian couples, one of them will get a kid and have it and everything just from a sperm donor. So it's like that's even making so you taking a man's angle out of it in so many ways. And I'm telling you, that's major. That is major. And it's not enough talk about that, because if the women only going for a certain percentage of men, like people talk about the 80-20 rule, or some people say 90-10, whatever you want to say. You know, there's one thing, it's like, okay, yeah, you can build to be in that top percentage, which that's Rom's solution. But a lot of guys might not make it, you know. I ain't even put in the height part. Other people be putting in the height part and everything. And then some other people, if you're talking about money part, let's be real, they saying 6 figures. Let's put it up to $500,000. All right, I'll start it off. I'll put it off at $500,000. All right, and even then, it's about the lifestyle, and it's only if that woman can't make that lifestyle herself. It's totally jacked up. But that's the major thing. They free to choose. You can't force them. Not in Western society. And indeed, shoot. And those are women, you know. I mentioned earlier about women, you know, being single moms. You got a lot of women, they like, fuck it. They don't even want to have children. So that's creating a major thing. There's not enough talk about that, at least in this space. But, you know, you got a lot of people talking about, you know, the people not having kids. Shit, that's a major issue. That's a major issue. But they free not to have children too. So it's like, wow. If you really think about it, seriously think about it. See, one thing about me, it's just my nature to break things down to as simple as, I don't get into a lot of complicated shit. I just look at stuff, break it down to its simplest element, you know? And the simplest element out here, no matter how many angles I looked at it, and I looked at it in several angles. And it just come down to the female selection criteria. It comes down to the 80-20 rule. It comes down to women are free to choose who they want. And you know, if they could say there's no real what's the term? Consequences. If they choose to be single, if they choose to be someone else's woman. Shit, that's why I would tell some guys. I was like, look, if you want to have multiple women, just tell them. Trust me, you talk to a lot of women. They like the biggest thing is it's not even having multiple women. It's just lying to them. You don't even need to lie to them. Just tell a woman. Just say, "Hey, I got some other women." They know it. In fact, you got some women, and I've dealt with a few women. They say shit. They want to be sister wives. They already know. They already know. Come on, y'all, go. They don't mind. They'd rather be like the third woman to a select man than get a totally free non-select man who might not turn them on sexually, but you know he got some stuff for him. You know he got some good intentions towards them and everything. And, you know, like I said, I don't see anything changing unless there's a major, we talking major change in the environment. That's where it got to start. It had to be a major change and stuff. And that's not, I don't see that happening. I ain't saying it's not going to happen. I don't see that happening. And, you know, I know guys are saying, well, what can I do about it now? Well, I told you. What I tell y'all, body game. Fixing up as much as possible, getting the right mindset, you know? At least the way I'm presenting the select. Now, if you're in that mindset, you gotta looks max or be top 1% or, you know, be model handsome or be over 6 feet, I can't help you with that one. My thing is just take what you got and just get to the higher level. Unfortunately, a lot of guys, they don't want to do that. You know? And like I said, it's getting worse and worse. I was just thinking about my youngest son a few years ago when he went to his school prom. I even talked about that. When he went to his prom and stuff, and me and his my co-parent, his mother, ex-wife. Notice I gotta mention all of that because you got some Bammers out there can't get the common sense of all of it. Anyway, right? We drove him and his date to the prom, and co-parent, she peeped. She was like, "Oh wow, these women coming in without anybody." And then, you know, she had his date had to leave early. She got some anxiety issues, social anxiety issues, right? A young girl jumped on him right away. And he said at one point he was dancing with 6 women at the same time. I was like, oh shit. I was like, man. And they were young. That was a couple years ago. They were young. Shit. Like teenagers and stuff. So how's that going to be in 10 years, 20 years? Well, unless there's a major change to the environment. I was like, damn. I don't know. It's messed up. It's going to be a change. And I'm going to tell you what, though. One of the things I will say, society itself ain't gonna fall, because you get some people in that non-select range and they feel like society gonna fall. It ain't gonna fall. It's just gonna change. It's just gonna change up, and it might take a couple generations. But there's some deeper stuff with that I hadn't even said. But no, it's just. Because it was like, I forgot, it was some university, and they said only 40% of men, on average, put their genes into the future anyway. And that's about who have babies now anyway, so, you know, it's just going to change. It's going to change. A lot of guys who might have had babies or been fathers, had a family if they were born 50 years ago, Ain't gonna have it now. And you know what? It's fucked up, but it is what it is. You know, one thing I have to say, you know, I'm just gonna be straight up with some stuff. We gotta start being straight up. Can't be bullshitting. We can't be lying to ourselves and stuff, thinking something's gonna be a certain way. Damn, dude. I guess he had to get where he was getting. Anyway, you know, just gotta deal with stuff the way it is, man. And a whole lot of dudes, it is what it is. A whole lot of groups, they just gonna die out. They don't have enough select men. Or they're gonna get smaller. I'll say they'll get smaller. They ain't gonna tie out totally. But they're gonna get smaller. And you know, Rom's solution. Now somebody else might have something else. Hey, they need to present it. They do some videos presenting. Rom's solution, hey, become select. Like I said, it's always you can do body game. You can be the best version of yourself. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. And if you don't want to do that, well, don't do it. Also, get the fuck off the channel. Because I've been sticking with that. I've been talking that for 25 years. I've been saying the same thing for 25 years. Just get better. And if you can't get better or you can't do what's necessary, oh well. All well. It is what it is. Survival of the fittest. Yeah, I'm going ahead and get some food. Had a couple people, I mentioned Jethro Bodine. Some people had watched the Beverly Hills Billies. Yeah, I know y'all were checking out some Ellie Mae too. God damn, she's a badass mother. Let me just drive in here, go get my stuff, alright? But it's something to really think about, seriously. It ain't something to think about. And, you know, you can't really even blame the women. Because if you talk to any, it's just their nature just to get the best. It's just their nature. You know? Ain't something you can fuck with. It is what it is. So, anyway, y'all. That's all I have for today. And I get back with y'all tomorrow. Peace and blessings.